Yo, what's going on guys, Alex here and welcome back to another Overwatch video. Now you guys might remember a while back I did a video for Genji showing you guys all of the ultimates that he could deflect using his ability. That video went down pretty well, you guys seem to really enjoy it, so in light of Sombra being added to the game, I thought we would do a similar video and take a look at what she can and cannot hack and use her EMP on. So if you guys do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated. Also, comment down below and let me know your thoughts because I've seen quite a lot of discussion on this topic with regards to her being potentially overpowered, the fact that she can kind of counter almost everything. So definitely let me know your thoughts down below. But just before we dive into all the different heroes, a couple of ground rules for using Sombra. First things first, Sombra's hack is interrupted if she takes damage. She also can't hack or mess with a hero's ability to use their basic firing modes and their passives. So if you have a double jump, a wall run, a fly, anything like that, that will not be affected. She also, generally speaking, cannot interrupt continuous ultimates, so things that you would activate and can then run around with. However, she can interrupt ultimates that are charged or channeled, so things that happen in the moment. And finally, with regards to objects that are thrown, as a rule of thumb, once they're out and they're thrown, there's not much she can do about them. There are a couple of exceptions, and you'll see those in the video, but those are the general rules for Sombra. So with that being said, now let's turn our attention to the heroes. Starting off with Genji. As mentioned, if you're hacked, then you are still able to use your basic abilities. You can still throw your shuriken in both firing modes, and you can also use your double jump and run up walls. It goes without saying that hacking disables your abilities, so you can't use your swift strike, nor can you use your deflect. However, if you are hacked during the swift strike motion, then if you're hacked at the very beginning, before you properly move anywhere, then there is of course a chance to cancel it, but if you are hacked while you are flying through the air, then you're not going to stop the motion. So in other words, if you try and hack a Genji coming towards you, you are still going to take damage. And with regards to the Dragon Blade, his ultimate, then as mentioned before, this is one of those continuous ultimates, so once it's been activated, even if you are hacked or EMP'd, it will not be cancelled. Of course, if you are hacked, you can't use your Swift Strike with this out, but you can still run around, use the sword, and do some damage. Then next up, moving over to McCree, similar situation here. If you try and hack him whilst he's doing his combat role, if he's in motion, then you're not really going to do much to stop him, and similarly it's not an offensive move, so there's not really much value in hacking that. Also, if he's going to throw his flashbang, if it's already been thrown, then even if you hack him during the throw, you're still going to get flashed. However, with regards to his ultimate, Deadeye, this is one of those charging or channeling ults, so you can be hacked during the wind-up, both with the regular hack ability and also the EMP. Then moving over to Pharah, her passive is of course the ability to fly, and this cannot be hacked. So if you are flying around in the air, this is not going to suddenly send you crashing down to the ground. However, a hack can interrupt a jump jet. So if you're going to use that to boost off the ground, if it's done early enough, then it can stop you in your tracks. If it's done later, then similarly it's not going to have much of an effect. Also with regards to Concussive Blast, again, if you can hack quick enough and stop her shooting it out, fair enough, but if it's out, then you're better off dodging it. As for her ultimate, this is quite simple. Yes, it can be hacked, and yes, it can be EMP'd. Of course, do bear in mind the fact that I said before, if you take damage, you're going to be interrupted. So if she's using her ultimate directly at you, then EMP is going to be your better choice because that is instant, whereas the hack does take a few seconds. Moving on from there to Reaper. First things first, he cannot be hacked when he is in Wraith form. So if you are being hacked, or you can kind of sort of see the lines where Sombra is trying to hack you, then going to Wraith form is an easy way to stop her from doing this. However, you can be hacked during your teleport, so if she catches you at the very beginning, then she can cancel that completely. With regards to your super, Death Blossom, again, this is another channeling or charging ultra, so once this is going, you can both be hacked and EMP'd. Then moving over to Soldier 76, interesting one with him. If you are hacked, and of course it disables your abilities, then that stops your ability to sprint, use your healing, and of course use your Helix rockets. However, if you are hacked while you're sprinting, then it does not stop you from sprinting, so you can then continue to sprint and use that ability. With regards to your healing, if you throw that down on the ground and you are then hacked, the healing will still function. It will not swap sides, it will not stop working, it will still heal you. So the only way to deal with that would be to hack Soldier before he throws that down. And again with Helix rockets, if you don't stop him before he fires them, then there's nothing you can do about them. As for his ultimate, this is also one of those continuous ones, so if the tactical visor has been activated, no matter whether you hack or EMP, you're not gonna stop it. Then moving over to the whole Sombra v Sombra battle, this is quite simple. She can be hacked before teleporting to her translocator, so you can of course stop her from jumping to it. As for hacking, it's just going to be whoever hacks first. If you go invisible using the thermoptic camo, then of course you can't see someone. However, if you're very close to them, they do become visible. If you get to the point where you can see an invisible Sombra, you can also hack her. This doesn't bring her out of invisibility, but it does still allow you to hack her and stop her from using any additional abilities. And as for her ultimate, because it's an instant activation, if you are in a Sombra v Sombra battle, it's basically going to be a case of who activates it first. Then moving over to Tracer, she can actually be hacked during her blink. It is a very tight window, and truth be told, probably something you're not going to do on purpose. It would more than likely happen by accident. However, one of the other ones that is slightly more accessible is that you can also hack her during her recoil. So if she's trying to go back in time, you can cancel that during the process. As for her pulse bomb, this one, there's not really much you can do about it. If she throws it out and it sticks on you, then you're still going to blow up. So your only counter to this would be to hack her before she throws it. Then moving over to Bastion, he does actually get pretty bullied by Sombra. If he's in turret form and he's hacked, then he will return to normal form. If he's healing and he's hacked, that will cancel his heal. But the one saving grace is that if he is in tank form, i.e. his ultimate, then you cannot do anything about it. You can't hack it, you can't EMP it, you just need to run. So again, your only counter to that would be to hack him before he goes into that mode to stop him from using it altogether. Next up, with Hanzo, if you switch between your different types of arrows and you're hacked during the process, then you will of course be locked to the arrow that you were using. Of course, if it happens to be the Sonic arrow, then once you've shot that arrow, it will then default back to your original one. So the only other thing with regards to Hanzo is his ultimate. Again, if you're going to hack him, you need to do it before the arrow goes out. If the arrow goes out even after you hack him, then it will still turn into the dragons and it will still go forward. You can't turn the dragons friendly, you can't turn them on your side, so if you're going to hack him, you need to do it before he fires the arrow. Then moving over to Junkrat. First things first, with his concussive mine, if you throw this on the ground and you are then hacked, you are unable to detonate the mine until the hack goes away. So that can be seen as an appropriate counter to the mine. You cannot, however, hack the mine itself. So once it's out, your best bet is just to hack him and run away, or just simply leave it altogether. As for the steel trap, that also cannot be hacked, and if you're invisible and you run into it, it will reveal you and will still catch you, so you can't use invisibility as a means to run over the trap. And as for when you are in ultimate and you're using your rip tire, then during this phase you can hack Junkrat, but you can't hack his tire. So there's nothing to stop him from chasing you down and blowing you up. Then moving over to Mei, she cannot be hacked if she's in her Cryo Freeze Icicle. It's also worth noting that because she can deal continuous damage, then she's a bit of a nightmare for Sombra because Sombra's hack is interrupted when she takes damage. As for your ultimate, again, it's one of those thrown ones, so if you are hacked before you throw it out, it can of course stop you in your tracks, but if it's thrown out, then hacking will do nothing to the ultimate itself, so if you're caught in it, you are still going to freeze. Then after that, moving over to Torbjorn, this one is quite an interesting one. So when you put your turret down, turrets can be hacked. However, in a 1v1 situation, it is practically impossible using your regular hack ability, simply because the turrets have such insane tracking that as soon as you come around the corner, they will shoot you, they will interrupt your hack, and you will die. So, in this situation, the only way you're going to deal with a turret is using your EMP ability because it has an instant activation. Beyond that, there's not really much else. When you're hacked, you can still swap between your hammer and your gun, but of course your abilities will be disabled. It's also worth noting that hacked turrets do not turn against you, they are simply deactivated. Then as for Widowmaker, she can be hacked mid-grappling hook, and if that happens, her grappling hook will cancel, she will then drop down. As for her Venom Mine, you can't really do much about that. If it's thrown out, then it will still trigger, you can't hack it, you can't disable it, so it is still a threat to you. And as for her ultimate, if you go invisible after it's been activated, then you don't show up on the infrared, which is actually pretty powerful. However, hacking Widowmaker or EMPing her during the infrared will not disable it, so while you can hide from it, you cannot cancel it. Then moving over to D.Va, while she's using her boosters and flying towards you, she can be hacked. If you successfully hack her before she reaches you, you will stop her in her tracks, but of course if you don't quite make it, she will knock you back. You can also hack her directly through her defense matrix, which is something you won't see with some of the other defense heroes because normally you cannot hack through shields, but in D.Va's case, you can. So defense matrix, even if you're face to face with Sombra, will not protect you from a hack. And as for her self-destruct, well again, once it's out, there's really nothing you can do about it. You can't disable it, you can't hack it, so you're going to want to run. You can however hack her afterwards and stop her from getting back in her mech. Then as for Reinhardt, again with his charge, you can hack him mid-charge, and if you do so successfully, you will stop him in his tracks. You do want to be really careful with this though, because if the timing is wrong, then you are going to get impaled against the wall. And as for his Fire Strike, you can also hack him during the animation, but if the animation completes, then the Fire Strike will still go out. You can hack him in the process, but the projectile is still going to hit you, so you are going to need to work out whether that trade-off is worth it. And as for his Barrier Field, you cannot hack him directly through it, so if he brings his shield up and he is facing you, then you will have to get behind him to hack him. So for someone like Sombra, one of your easiest things would be to use your translocator, throw it behind him, and then hack from behind. But when talking about Reinhardt's Ultra, because the activation is so quick, your only counter to this realistically is to hack him before he does it. Then next up with Roadhog, if you are hooked by his chain and you then hack him during this process, the Scorpio-esque get over here will still complete, so you can't actually cancel that out. However, you can hack him during his healing state to cancel his healing, so that's going to be really powerful. And as for his ultimate, Whole Hog, that can also be interrupted, both with the regular hack and the EMP. Then moving over to our good old friend Winston, you can hack him during his jump, but the only way this is going to be useful to you is if you hack him at the very beginning. If you hack him once he's in the air, then you're not going to stop a massive gorilla flying towards you. However, if he is inside his barrier projector, you cannot hack him through the barrier, so again you would need to get inside. And once he enters Primal Rage, that is another one of those continuous ultimates, so it cannot be hacked, nor can it be EMP'd. As for Zarya, she has a similar situation. If she has a particle barrier applied to herself, then you can't hack through that barrier, you need to wait for it to disappear. And if she throws one of those barriers on a teammate, she can also protect them from being hacked. However, while those are immune to regular hacks, they are not immune to EMP, so an EMP will strip a particle barrier. Also, with regards to her Ultra, again, it's one that you shoot out, so if you don't catch her before she shoots it out, then you're still not going to stop her. Then finally moving on to the support heroes. Ana is up first. With her, there's not really much you can deal with. The Sleep Dart is of course an instant move. If you get shot by that, then there's nothing you can do to counter that. And similarly, her Biotic Grenade, if this is thrown at you, you can't really deal with that. And as for her ultimate, if she's already applied a nano boost to a teammate, then an EMP or a hack will not strip that off them. As for Lucio, being hacked will disable his ability to crossfade, so if you say switch to healing and you're hacked, you then can't switch to the speed boost until the hack is removed. It is however worth noting that if you amp it up, say you're using that to kind of get a speed boost and you're hacked during the process, the effect from amp it up will still remain, so that kind of acts as a continuous thing, so you can still run fast until that runs out. And as for your sound barrier, you can be hacked during the activation for this, but if it is then activated, regular hacking will not disable your barrier. However, an EMP will in fact strip the barrier from you and anyone in the vicinity. As for Mercy, she's actually pretty clean cut with this one. The only thing you can really disable on her are the Guardian Angel wings. Her ability to glide is a passive, so you can't stop that, but if you hack her when she's using left shift to, say, fly behind someone, that can be cancelled. And as for her ultimate, if she begins the animation and she's actually actively reviving people, you cannot interrupt that. Then your penultimate hero is Symmetra. Her sentry turrets cannot be hacked at all, so contrary to Torbjorn, hers are immune to hacking. However, if you hack her while she's building one, then you can of course stop her in her tracks. And when she uses her ultimate, you also cannot hack her teleporter, so that once it's out is again something you cannot touch. And then finally moving over to Zenyatta, if he applies an Orb of Discord to you and you go invisible, then he won't be able to see you visually, but the orb will still remain on you. Of course, hacking him will stop him being able to use these in the first place, but the only other thing worth talking about is his ultimate. This is pretty powerful. This is both immune to hacking and EMPs. And that, my friends, is pretty much it. That is your Sombra version of the Genji video. That is everything she can and cannot hack or EMP. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, then a like would be super appreciated. Again, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. But thank you for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.